And tonight, justice for a little girl killed while her father led deputies on a 45-minute chase all across Harris County.
DeAndre Flanagan was convicted of capital murder today after family members say he strangled his daughter while on FaceTime with her mother and grandfather during a jealous rage.
Her face was just covered in blood. He hit her with something really hard. And then he called me on FaceTime, and he showed me that he choked her on FaceTime as I was on there. And I said, Trey, that is your daughter. That is your daughter. Stop. That is your daughter. She loves you. I care about her. You care about her. Like, that is your daughter. And he told me, his exact words was, "You only love that man, so you did this to her."
March 20th, 2023. Houston, Texas. A mother at work receives a video call from the father of her child. What happens next will destroy her life forever. For 45 minutes, Kirsten Watson and her father are forced to watch as DeAndre Flanagan murders 2-year-old Zaviah Flanagan. And they can't do anything to stop it. This isn't a story about what happened behind closed doors. This happened on FaceTime, during a police chase, with witnesses who could see everything but save nothing. That morning, DeAndre picked up Zaviah from daycare, a routine pickup. He drove to the Walmart where Kirsten worked. But when he arrived, jealousy and rage consumed him. He demanded Kirsten's phone password. She refused. He attacked her, took her phone, and drove away with their daughter. Then he called her on FaceTime. What Kirsten and her father saw on that screen would haunt them for the rest of their lives.
He just wanted my phone. He's screaming at me, cursing me out, telling me, "What's the passcode? Tell me the passcode or she's gonna get it." And I'm telling him the passcode, and I'm telling him over and over and over. But at the end of the day, I guess it just wasn't enough.
But then he showed me the lifeless corpse of my granddaughter. I wouldn't wish that on anyone, and to have to go through that type of anguish and pain.
DeAndre led police on a 45-minute chase through Houston. And during that chase, with the camera rolling, he beat and strangled 2-year-old Zaviah. Her mother screamed. Her grandfather begged. But DeAndre didn't stop. Here's what makes this even more heartbreaking. Kirsten had warned police about DeAndre before this day. Not once, multiple times. She reported his threats. She showed the messages where he said he would hurt both her and Zaviah.
The first day he took my child, like I was giving her a bath in the tub. He stormed in and he took her out the tub. She wasn't even dressed. And he just took her out the house and drove away in a car.
They didn't want to pull nothing until she actually passed. And I told them over and over and over that something was wrong. They're going to at least try to find him or check it out. But no.
Evidence was there. The warnings were clear. But nothing happened. How many times does someone have to ask for help before we listen? How many red flags have to wave before we act? Before we continue, I want to hear from you. Have you ever felt like your cries for help were ignored? Drop a comment below. Your voice matters here. What you're about to see and hear are the real voices from this case. The people who lived through it. The investigators who worked it. The community that watched it unfold.
I want to run through the sequence of events as we know them. I want to emphasize that all of this remains preliminary, as there were a lot of moving parts. A lot happened earlier this morning, and so I want to just be clear that it's still preliminary, and we'll try to update as we go along. What we know is that approximately 10:15 a.m., an adult male went to a private daycare facility, removed his 2-year-old daughter. It's our understanding that he's the biological father. We haven't confirmed that. That's the initial information we received. From there, he proceeded to go to a retail store pretty close by, where he confronted the mother of the child and began making threats, asking for her phone, her passcode, with child in hand, and basically threatening to hurt the child if she did not turn those items over. She complied. She made an attempt to try to rescue her daughter from his stronghold, but she was unable to do so. At that point, we're told that the adult male struck her possibly a couple times to the face and continued to flee the location from that retail store, again, still with child in tow, and fleeing the location with her phone and his phone as well. There was a standoff. The male was in the vehicle. We later learned the child was still in the vehicle as well. One of our negotiators was able to establish verbal communication just briefly from near the vehicle, trying to ascertain the condition, especially of the child. And at that point, during the course of that investigation, they determined that the child was possibly in pretty bad shape. The adult male was taken into custody without injury or without incident, and the child was removed, and immediately EMS began providing life-saving measures. At that point, the child was in very serious critical condition, so CPR was administered almost the entire time until Life Flight arrived and has since taken the toddler, who we're told is 2 years old, 2-year-old black female. And again, she's in very critical condition. I have not received an update since her arrival at the hospital, so our prayers above everything are with the child.
Now, the girl's family says they had concerns about her safety for several days before all of this happened. In fact, last Wednesday, they say DeAndre Flanagan picked up little Zavea and threatened to hurt her then, but they say nothing was done. Now, Flanagan, of course, is now charged with murder. According to court records, he hit little Zavea with and against a blunt object and choked her as well, we've learned on Monday. The little girl's aunt just at a loss as to what the 2-year-old may have felt in her final moments.
She was probably just thinking, why? Like, Dad, what did I do? And she didn't do anything. She didn't do anything but love him and be a joy to the world. And he's just an evil person.
Doubled the bond of a father accused in the death of his child during a police chase.
Yeah, prosecutors say murder charges against DeAndre Flanagan could be upgraded to capital murder depending on the results of the autopsy on his 2-year-old little girl. Tonight we hear from the child's mother. Jason Miles live from the Harris County Jail with the latest. Jason.
Hey there, Lynn. Yeah, the suspect, DeAndre Flanagan, is now being held down here on a $2 million bond, increased this morning by a judge from $1 million. The mother of his child believes Flanagan just did not want them to move on without him. Photos of 2-year-old Zavea reminds her heartbroken mother, Kirsten Watson, of the simple things she'll miss.
I give her baths, we lay together, we sleep together, and now I won't be able to do any of that anymore.
Zavea's father, DeAndre Flanagan, appeared in court for the first time this morning, 2 days after allegedly murdering the toddler.
I'm just trying to wrap my head around why. How could you do this to your little girl?
It happened, prosecutors say, after Flanagan got the girl from daycare, confronted Watson, who works at this Walmart, then snatched her phone. He later led deputies on a 45-minute chase with Zavea unrestrained while allegedly FaceTiming Watson and Zavea's grandfather, showing the girl being assaulted as they tried to reason with him.
I know in her mind, she probably was just wondering, what did I do? What are you doing this to me for? I love you. Why are you hurting me?
A tactical team eventually arrested Flanagan after a standoff, and prosecutors say charges may be upgraded to capital murder once his daughter's autopsy is complete.
It's my suspicion that Zavea died due to strangulation, which would not be the result of any sort of blunt force impacts that she sustained in the car driving with the defendant.
Zavea's mother says she was just trying to end things with Flanagan, but is now left without her only child as well.
All I was trying to do was provide for my daughter and move on, and I guess he just didn't want that. Didn't want that for us. So.
And prosecutors say Flanagan's criminal history includes attacking his own brother, who has special needs. Flanagan's public defender did not comment following today's hearing. Meanwhile, the sheriff's office says it did respond to a call last week regarding allegations that Flanagan was making terroristic threats. However, there was insufficient evidence to file criminal charges at the time.
Having his bond increased to $2 million, a 25-year-old Houston area father could be facing capital murder charges. This depends on the autopsy of his 2-year-old daughter, Zavea, whom he is accused of choking and killing during a SWAT situation on Monday. KPRC2's Rowan Balogan joins us live near the county jail where this man remains. Rowan.
Keith, the prosecutor tells me if a medical examiner's office determines that the 2-year-old little girl died due to strangulation, they then will raise the suspect's charge to capital murder. DeAndre Flanagan wears a yellow jumpsuit with his hands behind his back in handcuffs as he appears for the first time in front of a judge. The 25-year-old charged with murder. Investigators say he picked up his 2-year-old daughter from daycare, went to the mom's job at Walmart, threatened her, then led law enforcement on a 30-mile chase with his daughter in the passenger seats without a seatbelt or car seats. Prosecutors say he video called the child's grandmother.
In that FaceTime, they were watching the defendant strangle and assault the 2-year-old as he demanded Ms. Watson's phone password.
Chow Wen is a trauma therapist with the GEM Wellness and Counseling Service.
What an unthinkable tragedy that a child, a 2-year-old toddler, had to be weaponized as a result of domestic violence.
The sheriff's office looking into its overall response surrounding this case, including the chase and the events leading up to it, including when deputies responded to the family home last week.
This happened in a 5-day span, starting Wednesday night.
The criminal justice system, law enforcement, prosecutors, they are there to protect survivors. Protective orders are meant to protect you, not to hurt you. In this case, it appears the system has failed this woman.
When police finally stopped DeAndre's vehicle that day, officers rushed the car. They found Zavea unconscious in the back seat. Paramedics arrived within minutes and transported her to hospital. But despite their efforts, 2-year-old Zavea Flanagan was pronounced dead. DeAndre Flanagan was immediately taken into custody. He was charged with capital murder, and prosecutors pushed for his bond to be set at $2 million. He remained in Harris County Jail as the case moved to the legal system. For nearly 2 years, Kirsten Watson waited for justice. 2 years of reliving that FaceTime call. 2 years of asking herself if there was anything she could have done differently. 2 years of grief that no parent should ever have to endure. In January 2025, DeAndre Flanagan stood trial for the capital murder of his daughter. The evidence was overwhelming. The jury heard testimony about the police chase, the FaceTime call, and the brutality Zavea suffered in her final moments. They saw the messages Kirsten had shown police before the murder, the threats DeAndre had made, the warnings that went unanswered. The jury found DeAndre Flanagan guilty of capital murder. Under Texas law, capital murder carries one of two sentences: life in prison with the possibility of parole after 40 years, or life in prison without parole. DeAndre Flanagan now faces spending the rest of his life behind bars. But here's the truth that no guilty verdict can fix. Zavea is still gone. Kirsten still has to live with the memory of watching her daughter die on a screen, and the system that was supposed to protect them both still failed. Let's talk about that failure, because it's the part of this story that should make all of us uncomfortable. Kirsten Watson did everything we tell abuse victims to do. She reported DeAndre's threats to police. She didn't stay silent. She didn't minimize the danger. She showed officers the messages where he explicitly said he would hurt her and Zavea. She asked for help, and nothing happened. No arrest. No restraining order enforced with real consequences. No intervention that treated those threats as the serious danger they were. The warnings were documented, filed away, and ultimately ignored until it was too late. This is the gap that kills people. The space between "I reported it" and "someone did something about it." That gap costs Zavea her life. We have to ask ourselves hard questions. How many reports does it take before we believe someone is in danger? How much evidence do we need before we act? And why do we wait until someone is dead to take threats seriously? If you're watching this and you know someone who's being threatened, someone who's scared, someone who's asking for help, don't assume the system will protect them. One report might not be enough. One call to police might disappear into a file somewhere. Keep documenting. Keep escalating. Involve multiple agencies if you have to. Call repeatedly. Make noise. Because waiting for the system to work on its own timeline can be deadly. And if you're the one in danger, please hear this. Your fear is valid. Your instincts are real. If someone is threatening you or your children, you don't have to wait for permission to protect yourself. Get out if you can. Go somewhere safe. Reach out to people who will actually help. Kirsten's story shows us that doing everything right doesn't guarantee safety. The system is broken, and until it's fixed, we have to fight harder for the people we love. So let me ask you, what do you think needs to change? How do we close the gap between someone asking for help and actually receiving it? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because these conversations matter. If this story impacted you, hit that like button. Subscribe to True Crime Station so we can keep bringing you the cases that need to be told. And share this video, because Zavia's story deserves to be heard. Rest in peace, Zavia Flanagan. You were only 2 years old. You had your whole life ahead of you. You deserved to grow up safe, loved, and protected. You deserved so much better than what happened to you. And to everyone watching, don't let her death be forgotten. Don't let it be just another story. Let it be the reminder that we have to do better. We have to listen louder. We have to act faster. Because the next Zavia is out there right now. And maybe, just maybe, we can save her.